Zach, so especially while you have that up right now, could you talk about maybe what are some of the gotchas? So as people go into tables, as you're writing this book, are there things that are gotchas or limitations that they should know about going into tables?
Yeah, definitely. No, there's some definite drawbacks. So one of them is a somewhat well-known bug of using the subtotal function. So I'm just going to add here. I'm just going to add a couple calculations here. All right, so I'll get a row number. There's two ways to get the table row number. Use row number A1 or the row number of the actual table is taking the row minus the row of the header. And so if you wanted to use the subtotal function, let's see, one. And I know this doesn't actually mean anything, but so I've got the subtotal function in here, right? And it's in a calculated column, and this is basically a no-no. You don't ever really want to do that, right? So the bug is basically with subtotal calculation in a calculated column, and this can happen without tables too, I believe. Every time you filter the data, so I'll filter out Fridays, and if you take a look at the row headers, you see the blue row headers shows you the filtered range, right? So first thing to notice is there's an excluded row. That bottom row, which is included in the table, the row header is dark gray or black text, right? It's not blue. So that means it's not included in the filter range. So I'll clear the filter, filter again, and then you can see there's even more rows with black text that are not included in the filter range. And every time you do this, more rows are excluded from the filter range every single time until you close Excel and then reopen it. Then you can see there's only 2 rows, well, 3 rows in the filter range, right? One row is filtered out.
Huh.
So that's probably one of the biggest bugs. And this one didn't even unhide. So and that's because of the subtotal function as a calculated column in the table itself. So, which is funny because if you add a total row, their functions by default when you select this drop down handle and select one of the functions uses the subtotal function. So tables always uses the subtotal function in the total row, which you can change if you want, depending on what you want to see, obviously. So basically, one of the biggest pitfalls you want to stay away from is using a subtotal function in a calculated column, and definitely find a workaround for that.
Cool.
Probably another big one is if you're on a protected sheet, you can't sort a table on a protected sheet, even if you allow the sorting. So if I right-click on the sheet and I say Protect Sheet, and I say so sort to allow sort, and click OK, I can't even select this drop-down, right? So you can't sort a table on a protected sheet. The only workaround to this, and it's kind of a crummy workaround, is you actually have to unprotect the data body range and the header. So you have to unlock those cells. So Control 1 or right-click Format Cells and unlock those cells, which they're now all unlocked, which kind of prevents the purpose of protecting the sheet. But protecting a sheet, sorting.
Yeah, you partially protect a table. So, I've had situations where one of the columns has some really complex formula, but the users do need to input data in other parts of the table, I can't protect the one column with the complex formula.
Right. Yeah. No, you'd have to use VBA or some sort of workaround for that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen some of the workarounds for that, and it's clear that they're workarounds.